Morning, guys. Morning, and welcome down to Livewire. It's the 30th of October. We're rolling through the months, heading down to that December period, that Christmas time. And as you know, that's a special time here in Guyana. Welcome to another program or another episode, I should say, of Livewire with yours truly, Comrade Cordell Jones. Guys, I'm going to ask you this morning to help me to share um, the the Facebook safeguards there for your account. They're proving to be a little difficult. So I have a two-step authentication process um, activated on the account, and I logged out of the account to add another streaming platform to the StreamYard. And because I don't have that other system or phone here, I'm unable to log into Facebook relog into Facebook to make the live public one and also to share it on certain platforms. So if you're locked on here, please do me a favor this morning and share the live. Also, if you're on YouTube, share it on YouTube. If you're looking on YouTube, share it to your Facebook account so that person could see it. I wouldn't be able to make this public until later in the day. So I know a lot of our regular viewers might not be able to log on this morning. Nevertheless, for those who are here, you are much appreciated and the show must go on. So morning to Vina Ramkaran, Chitra Sukraj, Jane from St. Martin, Jerry Gomes from Georgia in United States, Prem Prashad, Joel Nabijan, Joe Nabijan from Canada. I think it's Brampton. I think he's from. Um, um, Jerry's telling us it's 59 in Georgia right now. Omar Sharif joining us from the NYC. So guys, again, if you could assist me this morning with helping me to share the live, as I said, Facebook and all the red tape in terms of your password and these logins. They're working against me this morning. Nevertheless, we'll continue with the program. And for those who don't get to view it live, you guys can check it out a little later in the day when everything is sorted, right? Mississauga, Canada. Joe joining us from Joe Nabijan. Mississauga. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But yes, anyway. So, guys, morning again. And we can get into today's content. So, first of all, a couple of things I wanted to mention. Over the weekend, Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Civic, had some somewhat impromptu outreaches in on the East Coast with East Coast residents in various communities. Now, this would be like in Dazzle, Vigilance, Buxton, and I think one other community. He was there talking to residents, letting them know what the government has in store for them. And I think the meetings were very fruitful. They were short notice. Persons came out still to hear what the government has in store for the communities. So it was a fruitful engagement between the vice president and persons within these communities. Now, that aside, I was there at the event, and sometimes people, they don't seem to surprise me or amaze me anymore with their operations and some of the things that people do. Now, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, there were persons there raising various issues um, in things that, in relation to things that they feel affect them. Um, and most of the concerns that were raised were legitimate concerns being raised by residents of these communities. However, there were some instances where we had some unreasonable people in the crowd. You understand? And sometimes it's not always that they're sent by the coalition, but they just got some unreasonable people. So again, while some persons were there to hear what's on the cards for Buxton, Vigilance, some of these East Coast communities, they had some persons there with the aim of just wasting time, right? With the aim of just wasting time. Now, this here is the Buxton location. This is Tipiri Hall, a facility constructed by the PPP. This was the meeting at Dazel Housing Scheme, right? He's leaving Tipiri Hall here, right? So, as I was saying, a lot of these persons have legitimate issues, wanting legitimate help. Take, for instance, this man on screen here. No, this man is a drummer in the Buxton area. And this man was asking the vice president for assistance so that he could continue to share his talent, his knowledge in relation to drumming with the youth in the area, right? That was this man's goal in terms of showing up to the meeting, to see what assistance he could get so he could impart knowledge to the youth in the community. And I applaud that. But then again, we had some people like this lady here. And I'm sorry your child is in the photo. But this lady here, this lady took the mic, Livewire viewers. This lady took the mic, and her first utterances were that the economy is so hard that people can't send their children to school in Buxton, right? So I was like, what is this lady living in? And where these why Buxtonians not getting there because we care? You understand? Why Buxtonians not getting there because we care? So that parents could get uniform, boots, bags, you understand, and the essentials. The school providing meals, the school providing books. So that because we care, if used how it's supposed to be used, would be able to look after getting your children essentials for school, right? Now, this lady, after saying that there's all these people, all these children in Buxton that are not going to school, you could hear from the crowd that they did not support her statement. She then went on to speak about the Because We Care and the school uniform voucher. Now, could you imagine that this lady here, and I want to make it very clear, because whenever Paul 63 comes onto this live or he looks at this live, you're going to hear that I'm attacking Afro-Guyanese. But I am saying that you cannot be unreasonable, right? And I felt that this lady displayed the height of being unreasonable. I've never seen or heard somebody as unreasonable as this woman. Anyway, so after she spoke about the fact that all these children are going to school in Buxton, she was then aware that that first of all was illegal to be keeping children of school age out of school. Then she's like, all right, put that aside. She then turns to the vice president and says, Mr. Vice President, this is because we care. Mr. Vice President, this Because We Care grant is not enough. The government needs to do more. because 40,000 per year, she said, when you break it down, is less than $2 per day. Right? And listen to me. I often tell some of my friends, I say, I don't know how some of these politicians do it, to sit and to listen to some of these people. Now imagine this woman who claims to have 3 children, right? Getting 120,000 a year for these 3 children to assist with them going to school, right? Now she's saying that this is not enough. The government needs to do more. Now, just as she was asked, I wanted to ask her, how much were you getting before? How could you sit there or stand there and complain about the $40,000 that you're getting without any strings attached to assist, not for you to send your children to school with, to assist you in sending your children to school? So the mere fact that I'm saying assist, there needs to be effort on your part as the parent who take part in making the child. So there needs to be effort on. Guys, just give me 1 second, please. Right. So as I was saying, and sorry again about that, this is to assist you in looking after your child. This is not the government taking on the responsibility of sending your child to school. So I was trying to understand, first of all, where the lady was coming from, being upset about the cash grant being what it was, right? I was trying to understand where she was coming from in terms of being the cash grant being what it was. And she is saying that this is not enough. Now, reminding you that the government has planned to change this from, well, to get it to the point of $50,000 per year. When it was just $10,000 per year, the previous administration said, hey, we can't handle that. We can't handle that. I am challenging this woman to come and show us what is the calculation when you look at 10,000 per year for the child, what's the cost per day, or how much money it calculates into per day. And also look at what she was getting during the coalition period of $0 per child, zero, and ask her, what does that translate to? What does that translate to per day for the children? $0. And that is why sometimes I get so upset when I see people being unreasonable when the government is making a genuine effort to try and make persons' lives better in this country. I get upset, right? It upsets me because I see it as people being, oh gosh, I got careful what I say because you can hear all sorts of things, but it is very upsetting. You are getting nothing, $0 towards your children going to school. So whatever you buy now for the children, you would have had to find that money to buy it 2015 to 2020. The current shadow minister of education made no representation for children of school age to get any sort of help other than boats, buses, and bicycles, which was not her initiative. She didn't have any public office or hold any substantial office during that period. But now, could say, well, bear stripping is happening in education. People like this woman here could come. This woman here could come and now tell the vice president that 40,000 ain't enough. Right? 40,000 ain't enough. She gotta get more. She can't find work. And they got labor shortages all over this country. She can't find work. And listen to me. That is what, and that's why I get upset. She can't find work. And I advertising work on this program here weeks now. Right? So look, Shepherd's cleaning, hiring people. She looked like she over 35. So she'd be perfect for this job. Hiring people. I secure security services. Hiring people. Casual, full-time, great pay rates. Hiring people. And she can't find work to survive. And give her child one meal a day. That nonsense the talking this lady. Now I ain't even gonna say they, because the majority of people there came out to hear about the house lots, the persons who applied prior to 2019 that are going to be fast-tracked into the distribution process. They came to hear about the roads that tendered out and contracts are going to be signed this week in their communities. They came to hear about their community center grounds and the upgrades that they could get to them, to those facilities. That's what they came out there. But you know, in between, you must got one and two worries that can come at you and ask you and tell you stupidness. You understand? So, Mr. Teddy 82, the VP had to ask her, who she expect to mind your children? Who you want mind your children? This is assistance, because we care is assistance the government is giving you to ensure those children have what they need to go to school. The government didn't help you make those children. The government played no role in the making of those children. You understand? But yet, they put a system in place for you to get something. And the mere fact that you were getting $0 prior to, well, you was getting a little 10,000 pre-2015. Post-2015 to 2020, parents and students got nothing. Not a new school. All the dorms that they're claiming they want fire extinguisher in and sprinkler, no new ones were built. Nothing of the sort. No new sports facilities to the youths. No lights on the ground so the youths could play a little late in the night. Nothing. What they do in Buxton? I remember seeing a video of a man stand up outside of the Buxton Community Center ground where Minister Ramson put in the lights and the basketball court they redid. And the man said, all the 5 years, PNC them can come in and do it. It take a PVP government to do it. You understand? It take a PVP government to do it. And they claim the soul of Buxton and Afro-Guyanese. This predominantly Afro-Guyanese community. Look at the persons in these photos from this meeting, right? Look at the persons in the photos from the meeting. Look at them. This here is Dazzle, predominantly Afro-Guyanese, right? This is Buxton to Peary Hall, predominantly Afro-Guyanese coming out to hear what's happening in their communities. You understand? You see there one Indian man there. Why did they help these people? Why didn't give that woman? But this guy here is our next worries. Now let me tell you about this one, right? Now this guy here got up and he said he like what he's seeing around the country, and his problem was ancestral lands. I tell you, You see this thing called ancestral lands? Oh my goodness. No, he is saying the government needs to do more. The government lapsing, the government falling short. Now here's his argument. They have ancestral lands aback of Buxton. And the persons of those ancestors don't know where the land is. Y'all understand what I'm trying to tell y'all? Ancestral lands at the back of Buxton. They're there. Government can take it. Government can do nothing with it. It's the people, it's their land. And mind you, the vice president reiterated that there's no way the government could just take your titled land. So this land is there. It's in some ancestor name. Some of the people living overseas, all kind of thing. And his argument is the government should do more so that the people who own the land gonna know where the land there. Now, how is that the government's responsibility? To show you or to remind you where your ancestral land is. You're supposed to get paperwork for it. The land registry or the deeds registry or wherever, transport title, it is lodged. So the government got to go and find a surveyor to take you to your family property. That's the interest that you have in your family property. You don't even know it there. You ain't know where your family property is, and that's the government's fault. Some persons were very unrealistic at these meetings. Few. I don't want to make it seem like there was the majority of persons there had unrealistic views and questions and expectations of the government. But there were several unrealistic persons at those meetings. You understand? This gentleman won, and Miss 40,000 is not enough. Right? Now, mind you, I am not saying that the 40,000 may not be enough. But when you're going to say it as if the government is not even making an effort, when you were getting nothing before in relation to that, it is quite ridiculous. It is quite ridiculous. Let me give you all another scenario from one of the meetings. Now, a resident raised a concern that the Ministry of Public Works doing the side streets and not the main road first. And they were in an uproar, like, how it makes sense? You're doing the side streets, and to get to the side street, the road bad, blah, 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 blah. So the vice president, in his true fashion, when he goes out on these outreaches, they have personnel from the various ministries, so that when concerns are raised, you have the engineer or the project manager or whoever is there to answer and deal with these problems. I'm going to take down this man before you hear a bully in he. So they have those personnel there, right, to deal with these matters. So he called on the engineer, right? You know what the engineer said? An Afro-Guyanese engineer, mind you. I remember his only friends, family, and favorites, and everything going to the Indian people, and African or Afro-Guyanese aren't benefiting from war contracts, nothing. But this Afro-Guyanese engineer got up and said, the idea is to do the side streets and then do the main road, because if you do the main road and then do the side streets, the trucks that have to traverse the area to do the side streets will break up the newly constructed main road. So Sorry about that. So, anyway, neighbors, trouble. Anyway, so as I was saying, some of these persons were very unrealistic. And to even understand the logic behind the engineer saying that it makes no sense to do the main road, then do the side streets, because at the end of the day, it will break up the main road, because all them big trucks got to come right down there to fix those side streets. So sometimes as residents, as citizens, sometimes you have to understand that your government, your ministries, these public servants, put some thought into how they're actioning the development in your community. And sometimes you need to take into consideration that, hey, I am not a engineer. I am just a resident of this community. I am not a road specialist. I am just a resident of this community. And allow those persons who have, and mind you, I'm not saying that as residents, you don't have a right to overlook to ensure that you get value for money, but allow those persons who are trained and certified in these areas to operate in those areas, right? So other than those three incidents that stuck out to me, the meetings on the East Coast were very successful. Persons were made aware of opportunities in the GOAL program. They were made aware of the ability to have their applications pre-2015 for housing be fast-tracked so that those persons are out of the system, right? They were made aware of road construction and road works in their communities that will be starting very soon. Contracts are to be signed sometime this week or next week, according to the minister within the Ministry of Public Works. And the general thrust and the direction that the government is going and where these communities fall in line in relation to that development. So again, successful meetings held there on the East Coast. Now, I want to draw your attention to an article in the Chronicle. Now, it's a weekly piece done by Michael Young, Crossfire. So I am urging you guys to go and have a read of that. Michael has been in the media fraternity for some time. He does a lot of writing, and it was a very interesting piece. Now, in the article, Young discusses the current situation regarding Venezuela's territorial claim on Guyana and emphasizes the need for unity in defending Guyana's sovereignty, right? Now, first of all, Michael touches on the government's skillful response, and he commends the Guyanese government for its calm and tactful response to Venezuela's threat to Guyana's territorial sovereignty, noting the government's approach is rooted in the belief in international law, justice, diplomacy, and the rule of law, I should say. Now, he went on to touch on the confidence in the International Court of Justice, and the government's response in the article noted reflects the confidence in the case against Venezuela at the International Court of Justice and its determination not to cede any territory. The government is prepared to respond as needed to protect its interests. Now, he went on to look at the unity of the government and the opposition. Now, the article highlights the unity between the government led by His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali and opposition parties led by Aubrey Norton in addressing the Guyana-Venezuela border issue. This unity sends a strong message to Venezuela and the international community in relation to this matter. Now, he gave a historical perspective Now, Michael asserts that the Essequibo region has belonged to Guyana since um, tribunal the tribunal award of 1899, right? And that Venezuela signed the award in 1905. This historical context supports Guyana's territorial claims. Now, he also alluded to Maduro's political motives. Now, in the article, he suggests that Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro's focus on the border issue with, with Guyana is driven by his domestic political situation, including economic challenges, food shortages, and the desire to rally electoral support. Now, the Venezuelan opposition also was mentioned in the article. Now, the article implies that the faction of the Venezuelan opposition is not genuinely supportive of Maduro's stance on Guyana, but does not openly oppose it, fearing backlash from the Venezuelan population. Right now, Guyana's border education campaign, Michael has made calls for an aggressive public education campaign in Guyana to inform the public about the border controversy. This campaign should utilize various channels to disseminate facts and dispel misinformation. And that's another thing too, where we saw Minister McCoy talking about certain media houses being more responsible in how they're disseminating the information in relation to this matter. Now, in terms of unifying the nation, the government and the opposition are urged to maintain a unified front in addressing Guyana's border dispute. Michael stressed in the article the importance of national patriotism and the need to counter any misinformation about Venezuelan immigrants and insurgents in Guyana. Now, he also emphasizes the need to be resolute in the defense of Guyana's territory. In the article, Michael emphasizes Guyana's determination not to yield any part of the Essequibo region and the need to further strengthen the nation's resolve to defend its territory. Overall, the article underscores the importance of a united and informed response to Venezuela's claims and highlights the historical and legal basis for Guyana's stance on this border dispute. So when you have some time, check that article out there in the Guyana Chronicle, Crossfire. Paul asks if I accept the engineer's reasoning about the road. Okay, Paul. Okay, Paul, wait. So, Paul, I'm asking you, bro. You heard what I said? The engineer stated, the engineer stated, Paul, that the main road is the same road that these heavy-duty trucks have to traverse to construct these side streets in Dazzle Housing Scheme there. 17 streets in Dazzle Housing Scheme, to be exact. Contracts are going to be signed this week to be constructed. So the idea is to construct the side streets, and when they are constructed, so these are not roads, they're streets. And these community roads are streets. They're not really built to take the kind of pressure from these heavy-duty trucks. So if you build a main road and have the heavy-duty trucks driving on the main road to build the side streets, you will break up the main road. That is all the engineers say. So they're doing the side streets first and then the main road, Paul. So that is it. I don't know if you understand or not, but give a little extra explanation so that you don't feel that you're too lost, right? Anyway, in other news, the Office of the Vice President issued a press release on the 27th of October regarding the Amerindian People's Association, APA, and their attempt to appeal the decision related to Guyana's application under the carbon credit program. Now, in relation to the APA's unsuccessful appeal, the APA, It was noted that the APA has failed in its attempt to appeal a decision made by an independent reviewer regarding Guyana's application for carbon credits under the Art Trees program. The APA expressed dissatisfaction with the decision, alleging that the Art Secretariat does not accept their demands, which they believe were meant to bias the process in their favor. Now, for a little background on the appeal, the APA's initial complaint, I should say, was made in secret, aiming to halt the Guyana's Art3 carbon credits issuance, which would have affected revenue for Amerindian villages. The independent reviewer in May of 2023 concluded that Guyana had followed the art standards process, and the concerns raised by the APA lacked factual support. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Lacking factual support? People who are doing things without any evidence to back it up? Sound familiar to anybody? Sound like a recent Washington trip to anybody? Now, the independent reviewer rejected the complaint and the call for the suspension of Guyana's carbon credits. It was also noted that the APA's claim of not being appropriately consulted were found to be false. So, lack of factual support and liardness. It sound familiar to anybody? Lack of factual support and liardness. Does it sound familiar to anyone? Who we know stays so? Full of lies, right? It was highlighted in the press release that neither the original complaint nor the subsequent appeal had the support of indigenous communities in Guyana. The National Touchou Council, representing elected leaders of indigenous communities, did not support the APA's action. And mind you, the National Touchou Council has representatives from all, I think about only 8 communities, indigenous communities are not on the NTC, but the other 200 plus villages, all their leaders are on the National Touchou Council, 200 plus villages, right? So the APA's actions have been exposed, have exposed them as breaching the free, prior, and informed consent from Amerindian villages, right? They didn't have it. Now, because they didn't have it, the APA's actions were exposed as breaching this principle, being unfair in advancing an agenda without widespread support from indigenous people and lacking transparency. Guyana had earned US $250 million in payments from the sale of Art3's credit for 2023. A significant portion of this money is being invested in multi-community and national priorities identified through consultation. Additionally, 15% of the funds were directly transferred to village bank accounts for investment in village plans. Over 500 projects are being implemented at the village level, supported by carbon credits revenue, so 500 projects are being implemented at the village level through support by the carbon credits revenue and are focused on various priorities like agriculture, tourism, and infrastructural development, right? So again, the APA has shown that they are not interested in the development of indigenous people, but more to the line of having a political agenda. So whether the indigenous people benefit from these monies or not, they don't care. They just don't want this initiative to impact communities under this administration. And when the persons who represent or are aligned with the opposition had the opportunity to implement these plans and policies or initiatives of their own to advance the lives of Amerindian people. What did we see? You see the other day I played the video of Valda Lawrence calling people buck. Right? Valda Lawrence calling people buck. Sympathizers to the PNC, APNU, AFC in videos talking about to hell with Region 8 or Region 9. What do those people do for the country? Imagine that. Guyana's Force people. Where was Sidney Alicock? Where was George Norton to make representation for these people? And they're sitting side by side, Don Hastings sitting side by side with Valda Lawrence. And she got the nerve to call Indigenous people buck. So people need to remember these things, because come 2025, they're going to go into these Indigenous communities again and ask these people to vote for them. Right? They're going to go into office. They're going to go to these communities in 2025 and ask people to vote for them and expect people to forget all the things that transpired during that period, that 2015 to 2020 period. But people won't forget. People have a clear idea of what took place, and people won't forget. Trust me. People will remember. Hi, morning, Vishal.
How are you doing, my friend?
Trying with it.
How was the weekend?
A little busy.
Yes, you had a busy weekend, man.
Yeah.
I saw the president and the vice president were on a lot of outreaches across the country.
Yeah, well, the president in Region 10, the vice president was on the East Coast.
And the reception that these two distinguished leader of the PPPC continue to receive whenever they happen to visit any part in Guyana, it is astronomical. So, how you said just now, the APNU will still go into communities and ask them to vote or solicit the vote. But who would vote for APNU AFC or Guyana Force Circus come 2025? I mean, we know that they got the Diajaka supporters, but who would risk allowing Guyana Force Circus at the helm of power being in this country? We saw the capability of flapping and what they specialize in. We saw that in 5 years. You think we could go another 20 years with them?
I don't think so, bro. Definitely not.
They had no vision in 2 years. What have they done in 5 years? Tangible. That you could reconsider and say, we could give them another 5 years.
Nothing to show.
All the projects, right, that they took credit for, that was actually started under the PPPC, could not complete it under the tenureship of the government.
Yep.
Or government of flapping. Right? I mean, I heard Miss Coretta McDonald think on Friday night or Thursday night talking about territorial integrity and all these crap. This woman, I would like to ask a question. If the opposition leader came out with a statement in support of our territorial integrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
The border controversy in Venezuela. He came out unitedly in support of the government stance when it comes to the border controversy with Venezuela. And then, on another note, one of his subordinates talking something contrary.
Yeah.
So, was that just a camouflage disguise by Mr. Norton?
We got to wonder.
One should question the integrity of Mr. Norton's support for the government when it comes to the CC. Right?
Indeed.
And we can't put nothing past the opposition because they are so desperate for power that they vulnerable of, they will do anything just to gain power. You know that and I know that.
Yep.
So, I mean, sometimes it leaves me perplexed whenever you listen to the sentiment that comes from the opposition benches. Is one of these people delusional, or they just mentally disoriented? Trust me. Listen to them properly. These people don't sound like sane minds, my brother.
Right.
Sound like a collection of mad people. You listen to Coretta McDonald. The lady needed a psychiatric evaluation immediately.
Coretta heading. Coretta not
I don't know when they lose the election 2025. My brethren is a bunch of psycho we can get as opposition.
We shall.
Because if at this moment, ever since the election last of 2020, the opposition has been engulfed in a mad syndrome. You see, when they lose the 2025 election, it's a psycho syndrome they're going to go into.
Well,
they're going to become just like the people in the Middle East there, or even worse than them.
Your partner.
They will become worse than a fanatic. Trust me. So we got two threats. We got Venezuela, we got the opposition, or the flat position, if you want to put it away. It's two threats we got.
Indeed.
One of them is military threat, and the other one is psychopath threat. You understand?
But, thank you, brother. And it's so true if we shall say in there. These people are heading good, you know. And we shall remind me about Coretta and her show on Wednesday night last. Coretta is a mad woman. Coretta McDonald is a mad woman. Your superior, your leader, your comrade leader, come out and made a joint statement to the government. Coretta now come out talking a bunch of stupidness, calling on Tom, Dick, and Harry to make statements on the same matter. The government and the opposition already made a statement on Guyana's stance. So what the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport got to do with it to make a statement on the matter? On what? What statement you want him to make? The Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport stance is the government stance. He's a part of the government. You're stupid, you can't realize that? You call him Jerry Gavaya name. Jerry Gavaya is an advisor to the government. His stance is the stance of the government. If you hear names this lady calling, one of the stupidest names that she could have called is Sarah Lynch. Now, how could a sitting MP not know that Sarah Lynch is no longer the ambassador here? What nonsense is that? People actually following and looking at Coretta talking this foolishness. She disrespected, again, let me come back to indigenous people. We just talking about APA. Now imagine, Lennox Schumann would have dressed in his traditional wear when I think they had the court case or something, and even the court allow you to go in it because it's indigenous traditional wear. Correct to say the man like showy bati, the one who like showy bati. Correct, you ever see Africans dressed in their traditional wear, certain tribes, how they dress? I'm like, how could this be an educator? How could this be somebody who educating the future generation of Guyana? Coretta McDonald head could good people. This man is in his indigenous wear. You're disrespecting that. She want the guardians of democracy to come out and make a statement. Anybody who did not uphold or encourage the rigging of 2025 must come out and make a statement. Don't just use us when you could get things. So stupid, a stupid big woman. A stupid big woman. And you are somebody who is in charge of educating the future. I'm worried. I am worried. How could Coretta be so stupid? Who else name she called? Ralph Gonzalez, Mia Motley. Listen to me. CARICOM made a statement. The countries that Ralph Gonzalez and Mia Motley are in charge of fall under the body of CARICOM. What madness Coretta talking? How could Coretta not know that? That these two countries fall under CARICOM. CARICOM made a statement. Right? CARICOM made a statement. Wouldn't that mean that the countries in CARICOM are supportive of that statement? And again, Coretta is calling for individual statements, and up to now, you cannot see an individual statement from Coretta McDonald on this issue, this idiot, and talking about who should make statement and who should say one, who should say this. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I pray that you never become the Minister of Education, because Guyana will definitely be on a dark path, Coretta. Right? I pray daily that you never become the Minister of Education. Because I don't even know. Look, Coretta, you need to have several seats. Work on some initiatives to the people of Alexander Village. You understand? Work on the initiatives to people of Alexander Village. You like to call Minister Manikchan name in your mouth. I don't even want to give you the opportunity to be education minister to see if you could do half of what she has been doing or what she has done so far. None of your predecessors from your party, whether it be Rupnarayan or Pagwali, have accomplished what that minister has accomplished in the 2-3. Don't even let me look at Minister Education before 2015. From 2020 to now, the current Minister of Education did more than both of your predecessors, Coretta, as Ministers of Education. And at no point, right, you would find Minister Manikchan mixing up Pagwa. I shouldn't even say mixing up. Joining together Pagwa and Diwali to make it Pagwali. Right? You got Diwali coming up. And definitely she'll know the difference between the two. And the sad part about you, Coretta, is that despite evidence of your idiocy, you're going to come Wednesday night coming, or Thursday night coming, and come with another pack of nonsense. Like I tell people, I don't know how they look at you. I don't know how they look at you. Much less listen. Because the stuff you, firstly, for somebody who is supposed to be a teacher, a leader in the education sector, a leader of teachers. Just how you articulate yourself, your intonation, your tone is ugly. Ugly. Right? Your delivery is ugly. And that is my opinion, corrector. That is my opinion. Terrible. Terrible. And half the things you say, sorry. 95% of the things you say make no sense. Right? 95% of the things you say make no sense at all. The minister moving around opening schools and dormitories and new facilities is a bunch of stupidness. That makes sense. That sounds like a statement from a sensible person. That sounds like a statement coming from a teacher. Correct? Why you didn't approach Granger or Nicolette Henry, Minister Pagwali, or Rupert Rupnarain to do some kind of housing subsidy or housing program for teachers? Why didn't you approach Granger, Rupnarain, or Nicolette Henry to provide money for teachers so that they could get the teaching aids and those kinds of things? Correct? Why? What did your government do, correct, to advance anything in relation to CPC? Waiting. Somebody tell me. I don't know. And correct, look, anyway. Correct, take me off my attention. Guys, the president was in Region 10. And I'm sorry I don't have enough time to go through all of this, all the locations that he was able to touch in Region 10. But I'll give you a brief update here on the development on the cards for the Amerindian community of Malali in the Demerara River in the Region 10 area. Now, on the cards, the president announced the construction of a new primary school to replace the existing structure, which is prone to flooding due to its proximity to the riverbank. An elevated area has been identified for the new school, and construction and consultation with the village have begun regarding the building's design. There will be an upgrade to the recreational facility in the village to improve community amenities. There will also be a new doctor quarters that will be constructed to enhance the healthcare services to the village. A new water distribution system will be drilled to ensure sustainable water supply to the community. The government will support the development of 10 acres of land for agriculture in collaboration with the Agri and Innovation Entrepreneurship Program. Pineapple, coconuts, and citrus cultivation are planned, with an emphasis on involving women and young people. Coconut cultivation. Now, the National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute, NARI, has committed to providing plans for the cultivation of 2 acres of land dedicated to coconut farming. Now, there has also been the approval of a quarrying project in the area. Approval will be granted for a quarry project in the village, creating employment opportunities for residents. A portion of the quarry production will be sold to the government for a fixed price. Now, plans are on the way to construct a wharf in Linden to facilitate the transportation of goods and services to and from the riverine village. President Ali emphasized that these initiatives are a part of government's commitment to invest in hinterland development, creating a more prosperous future for the country's people. The village of Malali, with a population of 250, has received a total investment of 154 million over the past 3 years. The community has benefited from government financing for various economic projects, including shade houses and a sawmill, under a 3 billion commitment for hinterland development. In addition, the village received 50 million from carbon credit funds for projects this year. As a part of the 30,000 solar homes project, 77 solar panels were distributed to the village to support renewable energy initiatives. Right? Now, this visit showcased government's commitment to improving infrastructure, education, healthcare, agriculture, and economic opportunities in hinterland communities, with a particular focus on involving women and youth in development projects. And as you might know, President Ali was accompanied by several government ministers and members of parliament, right? So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for joining us on Livewire this morning. We will get that Facebook situation charged out before the end of the day. Before I go, do make sure to support the persons who support us in being here. Remember to check out 592 Tech Vision if you're doing any installation of wiring on your house or surveillance cameras. If you need videography or photography services too, please call the number on the screen. If you're having any remote issues, you're having issues with your cell phone, your TV, your stereo, whatever it is, check out G-Rubis Techtronix there at the Merriman's Mall. You can call the numbers on the screen to get all your remotes, your controllers repaired, or you need to buy a new one. AC repairs and that kind of thing, to give them a call. And cloth for all your medical clothing and devices, male and female clothing, cosmetics and electronics, give them a call or visit their Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook page. King Kong Construction for all your construction needs, design, build, renovation, interior flooring, consultation support, and concrete roads. Give them a call there at King Kong Construction. Shepherd's Cleaning, if you're looking for nice packages in relation to having your house maintained by a custodian, check out Shepherd's Cleaning. All the custodians are vetted, and even if you're living overseas, they can put in a nice plan or arrangement to have your home maintained and cleaned on a monthly basis. Or if you're looking for your business place, you're looking to hire a service to take care of the cleaning of your business, check out Shepherd's Cleaning. They're also hiring housekeepers. So if you're looking for a job, please send them an email at the email address at the bottom of the screen. Shepherd's Cleaning, Shepherd's House Cleaning, or Shepherd's. The email address at the bottom of the screen there. Check them out there, send an email, and they'll make contact with you. iSecure Security Service, they're also hiring persons as well. So if you're looking for work, that lady in Boxton, if you're looking for work, check out the fly on the screen. Get them a call, right? You call them and they're going to find some work for you. Once you're physically and you're mentally fit. You got a little secondary school education, they're going to work with you. Email them or call the numbers on the screen. That's all the time I have for today, guys. It was really wonderful being here with you. Remember, it's all about peace, love, one Guyana.